I came straight to Frankston after my Stingrays. Did a couple of years at Stingrays and then straight to Frankston. And then did 7 years here and then a year at Frankston Bombers. And then I went over to up the bush to Lalbert in the Central Murray League. I would say probably a bit slow, inside midfielder. Probably tried as hard as I could to get the most out of my ability, but back to being slow. Get that a lot. Well, originally from TAC Cup, they didn't want me. I couldn't get invited to anything, and then I started getting a few people pushing for me. I think my old man wrote them letters and had coaches trying to get me there, and eventually I got the chance to have a pre-season, and I think just because I worked pretty hard and got myself super fit, I ended up getting a game round one. So then I had a pretty good 2 years at TAC Cup, but not so much dominating, just sort of playing a role for them, and then that was just a natural progression that about 13 of us from there came here, and I sort of stepped into twos footy pretty well, but then the next jump was pretty hard for me. I had to really adjust my game. I used to run around at one pace in the twos and sort of find the footy, and I tried to do that in the seniors, and you ran around the same amount of kilometres but without the footy. So had to work hard to sort of change my game, but I found a way to sort of have a couple of decent years here. I don't have any regrets leaving when I did, because it took me. I probably had to train a lot harder than a lot of other blokes did to make and be able to compete at the level. And I actually still try to come back the next from my 8th year. I just didn't have it mentally in me or even physically. I knew that unless I was 120% in, I couldn't go around again. So I made the right call at the right time. Yeah, that was captaining was something I never thought I'd even think about doing, but I suppose it was just I don't know, just a lot of good people around me, and just sort of learn off a lot of people that went through before me. And then when I got the call from Goose, I pretty much almost said no. I said I don't think I'm ready yet, but we had a chat about it, and I knew that with PK he'd be able to keep teaching me the ropes like he'd been doing since my first year. So sort of had a crack at it and actually really started to enjoy it. But with PK, I sort of watched what he did a lot, and then he sort of worked in with me and together. And but he actually missed a few with injury that year, so I actually missed round one. So I was thrown into the deep end round one as a captain. But and then when Potsy came through, I think we sort of complemented each other pretty well, because I was pretty good at demanding a lot out of my teammates and sort of driving the stands, whereas Potsy had a really good footy brain. Probably too good a footy brain, but so I think we worked in pretty well together. So well, Brett Lovett, I didn't only played probably 5 senior games under him. I mostly played for the twos when I first came down to the club, but I sort of took him as a pretty hard but fair. If you'd done the time at the club and you put the work in, he sort of looked after you. And then Shannon Grant, I suppose he was more from a professional high level, and he's been very successful, and so he was just full on hard. So he wouldn't accept anything other than the best. And I suppose with Goose, he found a way to sort of galvanise a group together through some pretty tough times, and Goose found a way to make sort of players play for him. And then somehow, even though we lost a lot of games, we all enjoyed our footy, and we sort of played together, and whatever happened, we were in it together. And that's probably what I learned off Goose and what I remember him for. Yeah, well, it's funny, because if I had to name my sort of 5 best friends now, every single one of them I played with here. So I come down from Stanford with Dave Comben, and we kicked it off straight away. And then my other mates, Sammy Drake and Dale Whelan, came to the club, and they left pretty early, but they remained good mates for a long time. And then Benny Crow and PK, I stay in touch with them flat out, and a lot of the blokes have played a lot of footy. We all keep in touch. So all the, it's made a big impact on my life with as my friendships is all the people that I've met here. Best player I've played with was in the year Michael Hibberd got drafted was probably the most ridiculous year of footy I've seen. When you're getting 43 touches from the back line and then teams are targeting you and you just continue to rack them up and just have the most outstanding year I've ever seen. And then when I first come down, I didn't get to play a lot with them, but Justin Berry and Marcus Morigliani, they were real hard at it and real professional. And then Neil Winterton played 150 games, and so I rate him right up there. And I'm naming a few, but there's plenty of them. And PK was one of the greatest leaders and most skillful players I've played with. And then my two midfield buddies, Lee Kitchen and Shane Hockey, really loved playing with those two. They were hard at it and just good to play footy with. Oh, when you walk back in, you just remember all the banter. That's the best part about playing footy, especially here. We just love the banter and talking shit and just really enjoying each other's company. And some of us, we'd finish training, we wouldn't leave for another half an hour, 45 minutes. We'd go in the showers and talk crap, joke around, and tell stories. And yeah, we used to love it. Highlights straight away. I think of in 2010 when Ben Cousins got dropped and played for Coburg, and we got to play against him. And there's a big build up to the game. We knew there's going to be a big crowd, and we're only a bunch of young kids. We'd lost all our senior players the year before, and I don't know how we've come out and just slaughtered them from the start. And then they've come back and got the lead with a minute to go, and then somehow we've snatched it back. And that's probably a big highlight for everyone who played in that game. And celebrate with it, all the crowd here. And then we all went back to my place that night and kicked on and just really enjoyed that win, because we were tipped to not winning any games for the year, and then to win that one in round 2, it was a really good feeling. Got a nickname called Lingy. I'm not sure if you'll be able to work out why, but when I first come down, Toby Conroy and Neil Winterton, they loved it. I thought, pick on the new bloke and go for the easy option and call me Lingy. And then got a few just the Boz and Bozza. And then Benny Crow come back in 2009 and he thinks he's the nickname king, so he's come up with Hellboy. And it's not my favourite one of all time, but it still makes me laugh every time. Yeah, I was dirty on my old man because I wasn't allowed to play 3 years of under 9s. He had made me wait. So I started at under 9s, and footy was always my favourite, but I had a crack at basketball and tennis and a little bit of swimming. But footy was the only one I really loved, and I loved it from day one, and still love it now. So. Everyone from my family supports footy and loves footy. The old man, he's originally from England, so he's not naturally a footballer, but he reckons he played and he always tells me stories of how he's no good, but he tells him I should have gone father-son to Coringle. But my older brother plays footy and he was a good full-back for Langwarrin, and my younger brother, he had a crack but he wasn't really interested. But we all watch footy, and it's just part of our lives. It's probably the most important thing in our lives is footy, and I think it's part of Melbourne culture, and we love it. Right now, coaching hasn't really tempted me at all. I've just really enjoyed going back and playing footy, and just enjoyed as much as I can. And I think to myself, do I want to do it down the track? But right now, I just have absolutely no drive to coach. I just want to keep playing as long as I can and as long as I'm enjoying it. So who knows, maybe in 3 years' time, possibly. But right now, just like being one of the boys and getting a kick.